All right, welcome STMA cabinet makers. This video is going to be covering how to make what I call the drawer guts or the drawer parts. And it's basically going to be a little side drawer guide right here. And there's going to be a top drawer guide. And then there's going to be what I call a top stretcher piece. And then I call this the stretcher cleat. Okay, so there's just simply going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 parts that we're going to draw. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cabinet plans that you can take a look at, and you should find all of the information you need right here on page 4, and that is your drawer guides and drawer guide parts sheet. And you can see again the 4 pieces right here. So I have the side drawer guide, the top drawer guide, the top stretcher, and the stretcher cleat with all of the dimensions there that you should need. In a case like this where you were wondering what is this dimension, it's a square piece. So if the dimension isn't offered, then you just kind of use that twice and use a little, I guess, common sense, or maybe I should have used common sense and put the dimension on there. But all right, so let's get started. Those are the numbers that you're going to make. And hey, again, if you know how to make a rectangle and you don't need to watch a guide of me doing it all, then by all means, you don't have to follow along until the very end of the video. You might want to come back and watch how it gets assembled. But otherwise, if you feel like you know how to draw those rectangles and extrude those parts, then by all means go and start on your own. I'm going to go ahead and get started with we'll start with the side drawer guide. Let's see, I want to get this folder right here, and the side drawer, the side drawer guide was 1.125 by 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to use this plane right here, the right plane. Going to draw a rectangle, like that. And so the depth of it is going to be 11.375, and the height of it is going to be 1.25. Well, I got those wrong, but you know what? It'll be just fine. And we'll go ahead and sketch that, and then we will extrude it. And in this case, the extrusion happens to be 0.75. 0.75, bang. And I don't know, let's go ahead. Oops, we got to change the color. Let's go ahead and change the color, and let's make it a little bit more bold than the other colors. There we go, and that is going to be, to help us to avoid confusion, that is going to be the top drawer guide. All right, now another part is going to be Create Part Studio, and oh, you know what I just did? God dang it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and fix this because it wasn't the top drawer guide. I was the side drawer guide. So here's what I'm going to do. Boy, this is going to be confusing. I can go to rename. Rename side drawer guide. And you know what I'm going to do? The top drawer guide is the exact same dimensions. So guess what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to duplicate it, and I don't think I realized they were the same deal there, but let's go top drawer guide, and we'll take copy off of that. And the only reason that I'm going to make another copy, because I just wanted to simply have a different color for it. That's the only reason. You don't have to do that. If you're happy with the same color, then by all means use top and side drawer guide and save yourself some time. I'm going to move on now to the top stretcher, and let's go ahead and go to sketch and hit top. And this one's just a little bit trickier. So the dimensions from our plans tell us that this one is 14.5 inches long. And let's go with, Mr. Bovey doesn't have a dimension on there for the width. So let's go 3. This is good to find all my mistakes. And you know, to be honest, in the real world, 3, it could be 2.5, 3, 3.5. It doesn't matter, but We need answers now, so let's go with it. And let's go ahead and approve of that. And then we will extrude that. It is made out of plywood, so we are going to make this 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. So you're going to be looking for some scrap plywood in the shop for this piece. And let's go ahead and change the color to that. We're not done yet with this, so we got to cut little notches out of here. All right, so we got to create another sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the side right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle right there, and this rectangle is 0.375 by 0.375, and I'm going to do the same down here. Oh, Mr. Bowie. Come on, I want to get out of that. A better way to do that, but that's how I survive. So here we go, and now I got to extrude those. We are going to choose that and that, and we are going to remove, and we are going to go through all. There we go. All right, so there you have it. That's our top stretcher. I got one more part to draw, and let's rename that to top stretcher. One more part to draw, then we get assembly going here. We'll rename this. We're going to call it stretcher cleat. And we'll be talking about this as I assemble it. It's just a little addition here. If any parents are watching this that are experienced cabinet makers and going, what does Mr. Bovee got going on? Well, it's one of my own little inventions. So let's go with this plane and see here. We'll go like that. It's not really an invention, by the way, but the stretcher cleat is 11.375 and 0.375. Okay, and I'm going to extrude that 0.375. And let's make that color, I don't know, let's go right there. Okay, now we are ready to assemble. And so let's go back to our sample assembly right here. And let's put those pieces in. So we're going to go insert. We're going to be looking for our side drawer guide. We're going to need 2 of those. 1, 2, and here's my stretcher cleat. 3, 4. We'll need 1 top drawer guide, and then we'll need a top stretcher. 2 of them. 1, 2. All right, and we'll just put them right there. Close that out, and kind of separate these a little bit. Okay, so again, I like to work from the front of the cabinet. And let's see, we'll put in these side drawer guides first. And here we go. For those of you that knew how to draw your parts and are just coming back for the assembly, welcome back. We are just getting started with the assembly. There we go. That piece goes in and we'll hit OK. I like it when they hit the first notch there, so there. And we don't have to do any rotating. Hover over the plane I like and come back down in here. Hover over the plane I like and that corner right there. And again, I'm batting 1,000. All right, so now these little stretcher cleats that I was talking about earlier is just something that I add. Not every cabinet has anything like this. And so we come along here and I like to glue these up along the edge like this because the whole, but it didn't move on me here. Let's see here. The whole cabinet kind of hangs on these top stretcher pieces here. And without these stretcher cleats, if you just butted them right up next to this, like it's done in a lot of cabinets, but most cabinets are stationary. So let's go ahead and approve of that. Most cabinets are stationary and not moved, but these cabinets are lifted and moved around, and they might have some heavy objects in here. You might have some stuff in the drawer, and so we want to strengthen this attachment to the sides because this is what the top gets attached to. And so let's go ahead and do the same right here. Looks like we need to flip primary. There we go. And now we'll put these little stretchers in. Once you get good at these, any of those little fasten mates work, but you feel free to use the ones I use. All right, and flip the primary. Oh, look at that. It went right in on the flip. Okay. All right, and let's see here. This one goes at a different type of orientation. So we're going to go right here, and we're going to rotate. There we go. And there we have it. So that is our assembly of our drawer guts. And what I've got here, what I've got designed here is that once the top goes on, the top gets attached to these purple boards right here. And they get attached to the purple boards, and then you lift the top up by these little edges right here, the overhang. And when you got that overhang, and maybe you've got some heavy weights in here or something, I don't know, all of that stress gets tied to these top stretchers. And if they were just butted into this, oftentimes that breaks. So I like to glue this cleat in here and make sure that that's really strong. And that transfers a lot of the weight then to this side. And it just strengthens up the top for when you're moving this heavy cabinet. Again, if a typical cabinet in a kitchen doesn't need all of that work because you're not lifting it up and moving it around, it's just permanently there. So you can get by with a little quicker assembly on those cabinets. But that's the drawer gut assembly and parts. So the next video will show us how to make the face frame. All right. We'll see you there.